Thank you so much for being here today, Lauren. Hi there, I'm Mark from Bitcloutlist.com, and we've started this interview series to understand a bit more about the people behind the profiles. I'm here with one of the most active voices in the Bitclout space right now, the lovely Lauren, aka Clout, aka the Spice Clouts.
I'm like, what's in my teeth? So you can just get to know me very quickly. I'm good. It's beautiful. I'm in the woods.
Oh, fantastic.
I've been living in nature for the last year, and got out of New York City to just get some peace and quiet because I didn't know what the heck was going on with everything, and eventually decided to move back home for a little while, gave up my apartment in December, and as an out-of-work actor, started creating on Instagram, making a lot of content. So it's been pretty great.
Fantastic. That's good. So what would be great is if you could, tell the listeners, a little about your story. Where did the journey start? And, what led you to what you're doing now, I guess.
My name is Lauren Aparicio. I grew up in Georgia. My father is from Spain. My mom is Irish. I did not grow up with my father. My mom was a Spanish teacher for 32 years. So we had a very multicultural background with all of her friends, French, Spanish, Mexican, people from all over the world. Thank God I had this very multicultural, gay-friendly upbringing because I grew up in a place where it was very white and rich. And we were not rich, but we were in like that kind of neighborhood,
Okay.
And I'm really lucky to have had a very diverse, upbringing. And I'm really proud of that because I think I would have been a different person because a lot of people in where I grew up weren't so inclusive, let's put it that way. And I always kind of felt like a misfit, and I always kind of felt like the weirdo. So I always really fit in with like Europeans, and not that they're weird or anying, but you know what I'm saying?
Well,
like
some of us
just
are.
like people from, and being weird is awesome. And I think, trying to find my voice was something I struggled with for a really long time because if it wasn't perfect, I was afraid to present it. I wanted to be a singer at a really young age. That was my dream at 5. I wanted to move to New York. I wanted to be on Broadway. I wanted to be a singer. And I just kind of quieted myself. Even though I was outgoing, I didn't really believe in myself. So I would work for other people, work for their dream, perpetuate their dream, be an assistant to the actor, right? Be the assistant to the musicians. So for many, many years, I worked in tour, film, and television production, and eventually led to meeting my mentor, who's a very famous actor. He's in a little movie called The Godfather. And, he kind of just said, you need to believe in yourself and you need to put yourself out there. Now is the time. And I was like 33 at the time when I met him. And it really changed my whole life because for so long I was just in a place of service, which is great. But I wasn't really living in my truth. I wanted to be the performer. I wanted to be the one in front of the camera. But I was just so scared of my own light that I just hid behind others and their light. Which, if you know me, being an outgoing person, you wouldn't always believe that outgoing people are like that. But they're very introverted in many ways. People are very complex. They're not one or the other. So there's many layers to me and many layers to human beings in general. So I really sort of came out of my shell the last 5 years and got an agent and started working really hard in New York and getting principal roles and The Irishman, and then I got a lead role in some Comedy Central stuff, and then co-star, and then COVID hit.
Yep.
So that's kind of like a little bit of it. And then content creation happened, and I started a show called Quarantine But Cute about, just telling people stories from around the globe on my show on Instagram, and then got picked up by an agency to pitch the show. So fast forward to today, January, I joined Clubhouse, and then Bitclout came out like a month ago. And I just kind of have my hands on a little bit of everything that has to do with creation while the world's starting to get back.
Yeah.
On its feet, but it's been so lovely to have that expression and not feel super alone. Like I've really built an online community of people that are craving content and really just craving genuine connection.
Well, yeah, let's touch on that a little bit. You mentioned about Clubhouse, and you're currently running 3 shows per week at the moment. Can you kind of give us a bit intro about each one and what you love most about them,
Yeah, I mean, I'm running a lot of shows. It's kind of become like a workshop space for me. When I first started in January, I actually did a dating room. It was called 1 Minute to Shine, then Connect Offline. And I would have people come up to the stage and just like put into the universe, like the kind of person they want to attract because it's something I wanted in my life. So I thought if I create this room, I'm holding myself accountable as well. And I'm like manifesting that in a group setting, which I really believe collaboration can help you manifest your dreams. Yeah. And so people were coming up being very vulnerable and expressing like getting super specific with the universe, right? So there was a clear message, not a mixed message of, okay, I want this kind of person. I want them to look like this, sound like this, smell like this, do these things, like to the point where it was like almost ad nauseum, like specific.
Oh, right.
But there's something about that, right? And then people started thinking I was a matchmaker on the app. And I was like, okay, I can't do this room anymore. So I kind of like passed it on to some other dating professionals and coaches and started a club called The Only Room. And that is an entertainment industry mixer for people to come together and do asks and offers within the business. So for example, there was an actor that came in who became TikTok viral. And there was an agency that happened to be on the stage at the same time. And they ended up signing him.
Oh, fantastic. That's amazing.
So I really wanted to create a space to make it easier for creators to be seen because it's something I've struggled with. And so that sort of fast forwards to Bitclout, where I created Cloutfactor. And we've only just done our second show, but it's like Shark Tank meets The Voice meets X Factor, but investors and whales will invest in your creator coin because they want to go on this journey with you as a creator and see how you're going to grow through the Bitclout community and in real life. And we have people of all different mediums during each show come up and give us what their offer is to the community, and our investors will invest right then and there.
Fantastic. And let's take it a step back a bit. How was Cloutfactor formed? What was the whole kind of process that you went through for that? Are you doing that like solo, or is there a bunch of you that came together? Or
no, I have a whole team of people. Rick Wall is like my right hand man. He does the financials. He helps me understand like spreadsheets. Like he's behind the scenes, making sure everybody understands what's going on. He's the executive producer. I also am working with Evan Torrens. He comes from the TV space as well. And we've all just really gotten to know each other over the last month. Before that, none of us knew each other existed. So we're all still learning each other, and it's very exciting. But there's a lot of people in the tech space that are involved with this show. The Krasensteins are also involved. And we have others, Justin Gilani, he's amazing. He's from the art space. Yep. So he's giving us feedback as a judge and investor in the visual arts space of it all. So if we have someone that comes up, that's what he does. He has a gallery in LA. And I'll come back to that in a minute because we're doing a show, like one of the first Bitclout art shows coming up in June. But really, I've just sort of gathered people that were interested, and they kind of came to me. Joshua he's Yellow Red Sparks. He works in the music business. He's been on the panel as a judge, as an investor, and there's a lot of people working on the back end. Luca doing social media to really make it happen. Like, it's one thing to have an idea. It's another thing to really like want to see it actually become something, and you need a team for that.
Yeah, totally. And I think one of the things you touched on earlier was just, the importance of kind of not just the importance of mentorship, but also the impact between, before you had a mentor and then afterwards. I mean, what would you be saying to other people that were perhaps like yourself, but maybe like 2, 3, 4 years ago that haven't got a mentor yet? How should they go about it? What does one look like? All of those kind of things, really.
Wow, that's a hard question because it's something that just kind of fell into my lap. Like the universe just I was very lost before I found my mentor. And I was just having a real hard time. I was drinking a lot. I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic, but I definitely was drinking more to just like not think about, I think, what I needed to think about, which was myself and how I was going to like, can I curse?
Yeah, sure you can, yeah.
Okay. I needed to stop dating fuckboys, right. And I needed to stop dating like unavailable men, and I needed to like not say yes to every opportunity all the time. Like sometimes you have to say no even early in your career, and people are afraid to do that because they believe that the opportunity is not going to come back around, and that's just, from my experience, not true, because I say this on many podcasts, like what is meant for you will come, and I believe that, but you have to be open to receiving. You have to be open to workshopping. You also have to be open to saying no and saying goodbye to certain people, and don't worry so much about hurting people's feelings, but just being direct in a kind way is kind of a way through that, because sometimes it just doesn't align. You know, certain people will come and go in your life, whether it's professional or personal, and it's hard sometimes to let go. I have issues with that. Well, I wouldn't call it an issue, but I have thoughts about that because I live in a sense of nostalgia in a way, you know, and so I don't want to hurt anybody, and I want things to be nice and copacetic, and you know, that doesn't always happen. You know, you have to be firm sometimes, and as a woman in entertainment, that takes bravery and courage, especially in a man's world.
Indeed. And what would you say from doing all of your different projects within Bitclout? What would you say is kind of the biggest lessons you've learned from content creation standpoint? Not just from, you know, the quarantine, but Cute Show, but, you know, your other projects that you've done, and what are some of the mistakes that you've had as well?
I think well, it just starts with listening first. To be a good host, you have to be a good listener. And that's something that before Cloutfactor I'd been doing for over a year, interviewing people. And if I'm not listening and I'm not giving my guest room to breathe and room to think and room to sit on amazing thought that they just expressed to the audience, like, I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, sure.
And I fully believe that you've got to make your guests and your audience the hero. Sure, the show may be mine, but it's about all of us. And sometimes just recognizing that I don't have to promote myself. And like my team will say, like, you don't have to promote Cloutfactor. We're going to do that for you. People are talking about it on their own. And I think that's a hard thing for me because you feel so alone sometimes as a woman. You feel like you have to push harder and grind harder to be seen. And that's why, you know, male allyship is so important. Yeah. So, you know, they can lift you up as well, because it is our turn, you know, and it's time for women out there to really not be afraid to tell a man no, or tell a man, I don't like the way you're speaking to me, and I'm going to be doing it this way, but thank you for your insight. Yeah. Bye.
No, indeed. I did. Well,
you know, I mean, I'm just being real.
No, definitely. You just reminded me of something, because I saw a post earlier on Bitclout, and it was the top 5 like female creators on Bitclout, and how the price of the coin was like much lower than, say, the male ones, which is quite controversial. But I actually don't think, I personally, my opinion is I don't think it will stay that way. But I just want to hear, like, what's your thoughts on like the rise of female creators on Bitclout?
Well, I just had a room about that today in my club, the Badass Bitclout Babes.
Oh, nice.
And we talked about that, how we go up on stage and it's not all inclusive. It's a boys club. And I'm not a man hater. I love men. But it's very important, you know, somebody asked, how can we support you? And it was almost unfathomable to me that question's even being asked. Yeah. How can you support me? You can reclout me. Yeah. You can talk about what I'm doing. You can support me by investing in my creator coin, but also all the other women, especially women of color, especially transgender, non-binary, and the LGBTQIA plus community that I'm a massive advocate for. You know, my second mother who raised me, Lucia, is from Brazil, and she's gay. And, you know, she became best friends with my mother. And even though my mother, you know, did not have a sexual relationship with her, they had a very close relationship. And thank God I was exposed to the gay community at such a young age. I'm so glad that that's a part of my past and my history and my present. And I truly believe that everyone needs to be seen, recognized, and heard. Yeah. And the only way to do that is to start advocating for those women and men that you see. Yeah. But specifically, I'm going to give a shout out to the Krasensteins because they promote me all the time. They reclout me. They at Diamond Hands and ask why I'm not verified yet, and all those things. And it is very sad to see how different it is. Yeah. how crazy the coin difference is. And it just goes to show that we have a long way to go. And for all you men out there, I love you and I see you and I hope you see me. And if you want to support me, I think you know what to do.
Fantastic. Love it. I guess to turn the tables, who is it who are your favorite people that you find it really interesting to interview for your content?
Oh my God. Oh, I have incredible people. I had Chelsea Hart on. She's a very controversial TikTok star, also talking about gender and mansplaining and men like fully attack her on TikTok. And she makes the most funny videos I've ever seen. She's a comedian. She's got like 800,000 followers on TikTok. I mean, she's crushing it. And she just lets the haters become part of what she talks about. And it's brilliant because she just shuts them down with actual facts. And it's kind of nice to see her being an advocate in that space. I'm a little bit opposite. I don't come from that, sort of like, it's a bit aggressive, but like in a funny way. I come from a different space of like, how can we talk about it? How can we figure it out? But also like, don't piss me off because you don't want to get the lion in me coming out. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to talk about allyship and like, all of that, I'm going on a tangent, but like, you've got to come to the table and you've got to be a part of those conversations. So the men that showed up today, big up to you. And there was a lot of them. But yeah, as far as, who I picked to interview, I'm a former chef, so I have chefs that come on. We do demos. I have incredible people like my own therapist from the Actors Fund has come on to talk about mental health. I've had licensed clinical social workers. I've had my friend Jamal Joseph, who was one of the choreographers for Beychella for Beyonce, come on and teach me some dance skills. I've had my friend Rico from Puerto Rico. I've had Rigo come on, and I was thinking of my friend Rico. Rico come on and do meditation and yoga. I mean, it's really just kind of like whatever's happening. And then, of course, we've had talks about injustice. Of course, we've had talks about inclusion. We've had talks about suicide. It's really kind of just like I feel out what I think the week's going to be. I'm obviously looking at the news and seeing what's going on as well. And if it's something that makes sense to be talked about, I kind of add it to the roster. But I really find people through Instagram and now through Clubhouse, and it's been amazing. Like I'm booked. I don't have to worry about guests because they're there.
I did a bit of research on your Linktree, and you've got like a lot of stuff going on there. I don't really know where to start, if I'm honest. So what are each of these about?
I'm a multi-hyphenate. Well, Linktree is just a great way so you can see my reel, my theatrical reel. You can see my IMDb. You can see the projects I've worked on. I'm an influencer with Bitclout. So people have a special code that they can click on the Bitclout link on my Linktree and then follow that link, and it'll basically give them priority onboarding. Right. So they can sign up to Bitclout easier and also get the $11.11 that Raj Lahoti gives to everybody. So it's pretty cool.
That's really cool. And what's kind of next for you, Lauren? What's in the pipeline?
So many things. Currently, I'm going to be doing an art show the first week of June with Justin Gilani at his art space. I think it's Visual Artist Collective in West Hollywood. I'm doing the world's first seed phrase art because Raj accidentally leaked his own password. Oh, right. And now his original Bitclout account is like changing constantly. So I took the words and I'm doing a bunch of cool paintings on canvas for that.
Nice.
And taking the words and making it just kind of fun. And I dabble. I'm a creative. Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm a painter all of a sudden, but it's just I get inspired and I do things, So for me, I have a voiceover audition right after this. I have a meeting with my Cloutfactor team. So really, I'm just creating right now in between auditions and manifesting my next role on set. So I do a lot, but it's building community, and that is so important to me.
Fantastic. And what was the apparently there was a Pizza Hut incident. Is this a true story? What was this all about?
Pizza Hut? Oh my God, did you see that on my Instagram? Yep. So someone was writing something about like, oh, I miss the old Pizza Hut. And it was like a photo of Pizza Hut in the 90s with like the salad bar and like sitting down.
Oh, I got
like
so
almost
stuffed
like
on that,
Oh my God. So we would go to Pizza Hut like once every couple weeks, and it was a treat. And I remember getting a piece of pizza and putting red pepper flake on it. And I guess I didn't notice that there was a piece. I was probably like 8 years old. There was a piece of red pepper flake on my finger, and I went like that.
Oh, this doesn't sound good.
And the red pepper flake went in my eye, dude. And I screamed bloody murder and was like crying. My eye was like this color red. And I just ran to the bathroom. It was just like, like it was totally nuts. That was horrible. So I'm so extra careful now around spicy stuff and putting my finger in my eyeball.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I think that nicely rounds things up. There you
go.
Where, in sort of closing, where can people find out more about you and what you're up to right now?
Well, the pretentious answer is you can Google me. The real answer is Clubhouse, Lauren Aparicio on Clubhouse, and also my show on Instagram, Quarantine But Cute, is every Wednesday. I may not do it this week because I'm getting the vaccine tomorrow.
Oh, congratulations.
So we'll see. I don't know if it's congratulations, but we'll see how I feel on Wednesday. But yeah, lots of things coming. I create, but I also create community. So it's all about just workshopping ideas and doing what feels good. And if it doesn't feel good, I move on to the next project.
Fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Lauren, and thanks for joining us, and we wish you all the best in your next gigs.
Thank you so much, Mark. Pleasure.
All right, take care then. See you. Bye.
Bye.